Welcome in, everyone. My name is Gracey with Northern Astrology, and I am here to talk about all things, I guess, me and all the updates going on in my world, as well as this incredible magazine and this incredible book that I happen to write with some amazing and brilliant astrologers. I also have the hardcover copy. So, no, I am not the reason why Amazon is out of stock. That is simply because they were not prepared for the amount of people that were looking forward to purchasing this book. So I am incredibly pumped to be able to come to you guys this Sunday morning and talk about what I've been up to and what this book is all about and kind of walk you through some of the visuals, because I am a first-time author and first-time publisher, and I decided to probably in about September or October of 2024, I wanted to assemble a group of people to do a roundtable for the astrology of 2025. And I was like, okay, I want to find people that are visionaries, that are able to speak the future in a non-fearful way. I feel as though there are enough fear-based astrology accounts where you can go and scare yourself all day. You can find out that we are, quote unquote, in the end of times and how the astrology relates to revelations and all this stuff. Like, you could easily scare yourself with anything, right? Like, there's levels and extremes to everything. But I really wanted people that were able to not only maintain their own practice, but also be creative, share their creative side, and have a voice. And the people that I found for the Astrology of 2025 book and roundtable, it was a roundtable that turned into a book, right? Like, I am an exalted sun ruled by an exalted Mars, which is opposite my ascendant. And so that's just like a little bit of a loose T-square with my ascendant, my Mars, and my sun. But I have found that the more that I find like sharing and building things with people, and they are people that respect me and respect what I do, magic can happen. And this was like one of the most healing collaborations that I have ever been a part of, because there was no one true voice of this entire book that you guys have probably been like wanting me to just open. They're like, Gracey, we've seen the cover. It's all over social media. Can you please just share with us what's inside? I am going to do my best. There we go. So it is a little bit different than your average book, right? We have the table of contents, which is transits, and they correlate to the pages in the book. You got to start somewhere with like making something unique and so absurdly different that you've never seen it before. And yeah, that's exactly what we did. But yeah, all these astrologers were incredibly gifted people that have been sharing their love of astrology and research in astrology with all of their followers. It's people that I felt like almost very scripted, the way that we met, the way that we connected. And, it's just been a really magical project to work on. So thank you to Alessia, thank you to Amanda, and thank you to Jamal for making this process of writing a book together for one of the most tumultuous years in astrology that we've seen in a while. Like, you guys thought 2020 was a bumpy ride. Welcome into 2025. A lot of people have been saying that it's felt like that this year is starting the exact same unprecedented way. And I think that's because of the nodes that were at 0 degrees Aries, 0 degrees Libra that I was talking about. There is a lot to be supporting what is going on in the world right now through the stars. Do we really need to astrologize things when people are losing their homes? No, it's not necessary. And the people that are, that's on you. Like, we all make our own karma this lifetime. And the way that I will not be adding to mine is speculating on the causes of a disaster or the astrology of a disaster. It's simply a fucking disaster, and people are involved, and yeah, souls are involved that need protection. So it's not really my place to astrologize the current happenings. It's just know that it is supported in the astrology of things. But what also is supported in the astrology of things right now is a global shift of consciousness. We have the nodes currently in Pisces and Virgo. And as much as this is a hey, let's dive into the book, like, hey, let's talk about all the things that we can, because, I want to. Like, there's so much to talk about. We have a lot of the stuff that is covered through the book. So it's like the astrology of 2025, who would have guessed, is very much talked about in this book. So we have the nodes covered. This is the page with the nodes. I'm going to do my best because I'm like reverse Vanna Whiting right now. And I am like flipped on the camera as well as trying to make sure that I just hold this upright. I don't want to be George W. Bush and hold a book upside down. And then everyone's just like, yeah, her ninth house north node is not real. No, it's very much real, and I am fully in my nodal return. The north node is exact my MC as we speak. I love it there. I feel as though a lot of this process was about really sharing my gifts of astrology, my gifts of mundane astrology, which is known as the day-to-day astrology. And yeah, I think that's going to be coming front and center more than ever. So if you're tired of seeing me, good news, there's just going to be more of me. That's great news for now I call my haters my secret admirers. So there you go. But we do have the notes covered as well as major aspects. I'll learn how to do this one day. So North Node aspects definitely going to be prominent. The first one that we have coming up that is going to be quite strong is going to be Venus conjunct the North Node at 28 degrees Pisces on February 1st. So that is going to be a fun day. But yeah, I do have the Astrology of 2025 book here. We will be talking about it. I also have my Northern magazine. So if you guys haven't seen the physical copies before, here they are. I have lots of things to mail off. This is the inside. You get the winter solstice, which the winter solstice is kind of the theme for the next few months. And then you can have the contents in here. I do a publisher's note every single issue of things going on in my life or topics that I feel are relevant to the discussion at the moment. A lot of them could just be rants that I feel like going on. So with that being said, kind of knowing that I've been preparing for the astrology of 2025 for a minute, and it's all kind of accumulated into these projects. So one thing that I did last year that I was really proud of, and I do have the other issues behind me in my bookshelf, is this magazine. And the Northern is a magazine that I created. And technically 2024 is still going on because we have until Aries season for the full year to wrap up, right? And we also have the Lunar New Year starting at the end of the month. So I feel like we're very much still in 2024. And part of the reason that we did the astrology of 2025 the way that we did, broken down by celestial body versus trying to like make things go with the timing and like make it linear. We wanted people to be able to realize that time is not real. First of all, the only thing that's real about time is measuring it and getting it day by day. Modern places, you have to get places at a certain time. Yes, that like keeping time and like clocks and all that are necessary to measure things and to like keep on a schedule globally. I get it. But like the concept of time, and thinking that you might not have enough time is absolutely not real. The moment that you start a project, whether it's at 3 years old, 16 years old, 25 years old, 40 years old, all the way up until you're 99 years old, there's nothing that I think is too late to start. And even when you're 100, I'm not going to discount the centurions just because, they might not want to start a lot of new things at 100. They might just, at 100, they just start learning how to be 100. That's the new thing that they start. But, there's no such thing as a time that is not ideal. I know in astrology, there's retrograde season, eclipse season, all this stuff. I have started projects during eclipse season. Have they lasted? No. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They kind of like shed a light on what needed to be done. They kind of rattle you into the correct place. Like if you're continuing to loop and make bad decisions, and bad decisions are decisions that alter and take away from your divine path, right? So there's no such thing as good or bad. We can get into that too. But a lot of things that I talk about are just kind of concepts of what you put in to your experience is what you get out. But a lot of these kind of like higher thinking models and like the way that people are explaining things, I don't really feel like they're relatable. So part of my work is learning how to make all of this congruent, some sort of communication going on between all the different parts of my brain and pulling them out into one magazine. And that is what this Northern magazine is all about. And funny enough, if we're talking about other talents of mine, Sabian symbols are a really, really powerful part of learning yourself as well. I know that I am talking in 400 different circles right now and or topics, but I promise it's all going to come back to each other. But finding like these Sabian symbols were part of my journey too. And let me grab my book real quick. It's underneath a stack of my own books. How exciting is that? This is the 360 Degrees of Wisdom book. Yeah, I am going to share a little bit just because I can. It's my show. I have as many minutes as my day allows, but like I was saying, time isn't real. That's what I was getting at. And you can kind of shape that. Like the more creative you get, the more sucked into your hobbies you get, the more fascinated by, if you're like building tiny models of replica cities and you're just like intricate, you might not notice that 8 hours has passed. Because you're so passionately focused and, zoomed in on a task. I think that like having that sort of passion and drive and finding that creative energy is kind of what the Pisces North Node is bringing all of us. It just kind of happens to rely on like where it is in your chart. So for me, this is, like I said, it's conjunct my MC at the moment. So the North Node is just like chilling on my MC. It's going to cross over into my 9th house, which is where my natal Pisces North Node is found, with my Pisces Mercury and Ceres as well. So yeah, like I said, the timing around eclipse season, like the things that I started during those, not great, not ideal. They really served a purpose to remind me of what I want out of a like partnership or a business arrangement, or what I want out of a situation where I am creating something with others. And then retrogrades kind of help you slow down, evaluate what you want out of a either friendship, relationship, or it's just a relationship to yourself. It's like, how do I want to be talking to myself? How do I want to continue the communication between myself and my body and, my brain and my body, and connect that to where it's like, I am treating my body as much, with as much love as I treat other people, Having that match is really important as well. So I wanted to talk about the Sabian symbols being very much a thing that can help you explain a lot of your life. Like, I cannot stress enough how much looking at the 3 degrees. So looking at my moon, which is at 3 degrees Gemini, shout out to Barack Obama and Patton Oswalt, who also have the exact same degree moon as I do, as well as Grace Slick, the lead singer of Jefferson Airplane and the artist and brilliant visionary that she was, and radical. She tried to dose Nixon with some LSD on a visit to the White House. So was she a part of my group? Absolutely. I feel like the 3 degree Gemini moon group is quite feisty and ridiculous. So part of that 3 degrees Gemini moon is kind of funny, because I was just talking about how I started a magazine after being frustrated with not having the platform that I wanted to see in the astrology community. So I just created it myself. Go figure. I'm an Aries. That's what we do. But part of like that journey of understanding myself so much and how I got to the conclusion that I needed to start a magazine is through going through my Sabian symbols. And yeah, I'll just read them to you so you can check it out. So 3 degrees Gemini is where my exact moon degree, right? So that is known as the karmic degree. If you were looking at just the moon degree and you just wanted to look at one, the one that you would want to look at is the truth degree, which is the rounded up degree. So when you're looking at a full moon, let's say at 24 degrees Cancer, you would look to 24 degrees Cancer as the karmic degree, and then the truth degree, which is the root and like the actual core of the degree's essence and energy, would be that rounded up one. So that would be the 25 degree of Cancer, and then the solution degree, which is how you can see your way out of obstacles or how you can see yourself into the next like movement or push with the Sabian symbols, is known as the quest, or I call it the solution degree, which is that degree after the rounded up degree. So you look at 3 degrees. So for my 3 degree Gemini moon, we are looking at the charming court life at the Garden of the Tuileries in Paris. I probably butchered the name of that garden. It's been a minute since I've been to Paris, but I had a friend of mine that went to Paris and went to this garden, and it was like one of her, I think it was her solar return moon or so. I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely a 3 degree Gemini was activated in her chart at the time. So I've been there through association. I've also been to Paris. I just never went to this garden in particular. So that is the karmic degree of my moon, right? So it's all about this like charming court life. Life is a tea party, you know, life is all superficially like very topical, very much. It can be a little bit gossipy. It can also be being bossy or spoiled, expecting other people to do things for you. That wasn't really my childhood. I had a very different childhood, but did I dissociate and dream that I lived in an aristocratic manner where people just served me tea? Abso-freaking-lutely. So yeah, definitely was not my life growing up. I did have quite a bit of adventure. And like I said, I have been to Paris. I got to travel with my family. So while my day to day life might have not have been charming or aesthetically pleasing by any standards, it was simply knowing that like part of that life is getting to the bottom of things, and like it might be a picture of elegance, but it also can really be like masking tumultuous things going on the lower and deeper levels. The solution degree to my moon sign and my moon degree is 4 degrees, right? So 3 degrees was the karmic degree, 4 degrees is the truth degree, and it is represented as holly and mistletoe bring Christmas spirit to a home. I don't think I have to tell you guys that I love Christmas. There's a giant Christmas tree behind me, and it's way past Christmas, right? I'm one of those people that do not take down my decorations until I absolutely have to. I have waited as long as April before. So there's that. I also normally don't drink coffee, but today is a long, big day of exciting things, so I want to be awake. I love the fact that that is my truth degree. So embracing Christmas. I loved getting together for Christmas as a kid with my family and just having big Christmas. So now I am the one creating that big Christmas, and it's super fun. My solution degree to my moon, which is the degree where you can find answers to how to basically unlock your placement that you're talking about. So for this instance, my moon sign is in Gemini, and so you look to Gemini 5 degrees, which tells you the solution to it. I know I've explained this process, but I'm just like making sure that I'm saying it clearly enough, I guess. What I do is being, as intricate and detailed as possible when it comes to these degrees. Like it can kind of seem like I'm just saying things and hallucinating, and that is definitely what it seems like when I am reading a chart and I'm looking at the degrees and I'm like, okay, and I can visualize them because I'm slowly memorizing them, slowly but surely. And right now I'm like, I don't know how I couldn't see my solution to my emotional core for all these years, but the Sabian symbols read me. The 5 degree of Gemini in the Sabian symbols is represented by a radical magazine or publication asking for action, displays a sensational front page. Yes, that is me. I have a magazine and I really love the front pages of them. I do have to say that this magazine is going to be getting a facelift of sorts. And that is because I am redoing all of the things. Like I've redone my website if you haven't seen it already. But I can show you there's that magazine cover, so I don't just have to hold it up and you guys have to stare at it. But I really do print the magazines. I love having them in print and physical copy. I ship them out to the authors, which I'm waiting on the correct magazines to ship to me. I love it when I print things and there's like whole articles and duplicates of other pages in the copy. So I'm like, I'm not going to send out the wonky versions of these. I'm going to wait till they actually are perfect. So they will be here soon. But yeah, I do ship these out. I do have the physical copies, and this is my radical magazine with a sensational front page that my Sabian symbols dictated that I needed. So I created it. But like, I'm not saying that if it says like like one of the examples is 1 degrees Aquarius. It's like an Adobe mission in California. And that doesn't mean that just because that's the solution degree to your moon that you go and build an Adobe mission in California. That's not it at all. Some of them are like talking about vague concepts like a widow shedding light on her past. Those are things that you can't just go and do. You can't just go and become a widow unless you take some very serious and murderous actions. But anyways, but it's very cool to see how the astrology and the symbols of what I do correlate to the things that I create in this lifetime. Going back to my astrology book, there's that, the astrology of 2025. I do have the book here, paperback version. I swear I'm not the reason that Amazon is sold out. I said that at the beginning of the stream. They just weren't prepared, I guess. So one of my favorite pages, I'm just going to start with it because Alessia did this and I'm just going to call out how beautiful it is this Venus and Pisces transit that we have going on right now. And we are truly breaking down how these transits feel. We give you space to scribble. So this is just one example of a Venus and Pisces, of the Venus and Pisces transit. Like we have a ritual, we have journaling pages, we have prompts. And guess what? That's like with every single Venus transit. Yep, there we go. So we have for every single one, there's place to write. You can scribble in this. There's also places for you to learn your chart. Yes, I included pizza symbols in here, pizza slices, and you can learn about the houses through the different ways that we shared these kind of like teachings and how-tos. You can learn more about the Sabian symbols in our book. There's also a chance for you to fill out your chart. I think it's after all this. Yeah, there you go. So you birth chart, you can fill all of that out. And this is like a really interactive 260 something page with like plenty of resources in the back. You can also tap into the free meditations that Alessia has recorded through her Life Through Spirit channel. And it's just really cool. Like we can see how the year is going to play out for your personal astrology. There's so much information in there about how you can work with the cosmic energy around you and everything going on. And that's been really fun to see. It's been fun to be like, okay, so I can pull together a team of people that originally started as we're doing a roundtable and then we're going to do an ebook. And then this ebook grew from like 16 pages to 260 pages. We merged all of our brains together and the funny part of it is that we're going to actually have a big roundtable mid-February with all of us, and we're just going to catch up on how the book's like impacted our life, how our clients are loving the book. We can definitely share our favorite parts. I just shared with you guys the Venus and Pisces transit on, I do have to say, the hardcover copy. The pages are glossier, so it's a little bit fuller color. So I might just pull that up. Like the Mercury in Cancer, look how pretty this is. Like it's just so nice and aesthetically pleasing. And the vibes in here are that of like, okay, here it is. I'm so excited. Yeah, a little bit more vibrant color in the hardcover, but still quite a bit of a visual journey. Like the vibes are just a visual journey, and working with all of us together on this book has been like combining all of our styles, all of our voices into something that will help guide and shape your year ahead. And not only do we have the ebook available on my site, and we have the paperback and hardcover available for pre-order on Amazon, we are working with another global distributor to get this book out to every single place possible, everywhere that you can buy books. I don't want to limit it to just Amazon customers. I know some people are actively Amazon free. I was that way for a while too, and the convenience of Amazon is just undeniable in the United States. So we have I guess everywhere. I don't know if Amazon drivers are everywhere like that, but boy, does the United States really enjoy their Amazon. So that's why we put it on Amazon. I wanted to make sure that it was accessible, but we do have other places that are going to be publishing it. It has been 11 days since publishing, and we've sold out on Amazon twice. We've hit the best-selling new releases category for astrology. We're in the top 10 for new releases in astrology worldwide, and that was just the first week. So yeah, to say that I'm excited about this is an understatement. To be able to hold these in my hands and be like, I'm going to take down this graphic because clearly it's blocking out the actual one. To hold these in my hands and be like, look, this book that we all wrote is here, and it's beautiful and it's perfect, and you can literally find out everything about the authors and also how to work with them. Yay. Number one displayer of books on live streams, but you can find out how to work with them. You can find out more about their practice. There's links throughout the book, as well as QR codes where you can scan and find out more information, including free meditations that will help ground you. I've done them myself. They are very helpful, and Alessia's voice is soothing as hell, which you can hear in the podcast. So I wanted to mention that we did not only the ebook, book, the hardcover and paperback copy that's available on Amazon. We also have the Astrology of 2025 podcast available on Spotify, and the Astrology of 2025 roundtable available on my YouTube channel, which some of you might be watching my YouTube channel right now. Who knows? But it's definitely something that I think would be beneficial to check out if you are curious to astrology. We try to keep things in terms where it's understandable and digestible. We use a lot of examples throughout history. One thing that I think is interesting is that we didn't do a lot of predictions for the first quarter. I am going to see if we can get some more predictions for when we do April, May, and June coming up, and that will be live on April 1st. No April Fool's joke necessary. It is a fun launch. I think it'll just be the first of the first month every single time. Like launching January, February, and March on January 1st was perfect. So that gives people a lot of time to go over and listen and interact with the things that we talked about and kind of like follow along with the book. This next round of us talking will be just a get together, and it'll just be us sharing the book and sharing things that we love from the book, sharing parts of making the book, like maybe my insane updates. I would love to hear from their perspective, what it's like working with my energy, because I feel like being a Cancer rising, my mood and energy levels will just change. I will say, I don't want to do this, and then I end up doing it anyways. I will say, that's not what I wanted, and then I end up like wanting that in the long run. I'm not like a flip flopper usually, but I'm just like, oh, I'm very I think my Virgo South Node is very much showing in a lot of the ways that I edit and the ways that I like go in and like fix things. So yes, if you are buying the original first edition copies and you helped us sell out on Amazon, you will find literal Easter eggs in the book that should not be there, but are. So now they're just part of the lore of the first edition. I hope in 25 years from now we can look back and be like, wow, Gracey's Pisces Mercury was really showing, and this is what we could tell from there. And the more you get to know the authors and the more they want to share about their own journey with this, I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be middle of February. It'll be after the Super Bowl. Okay, so like normally on Sundays you guys see me talking about sports, and I've done a lot of that this week already, so I don't want to be that person. But if you want to find out what I said about this weekend in sports, you can just head down my timeline and look at all the things that I was, I don't want to say totally right about, but the Ohio State game versus Texas, the Cotton Bowl, that was definitely a fun one. I went on BetQL Daily Show with Joe and Sam, and it was so much fun because I got to not only read the sports astrology research that I did and share it with a sports betting audience, I got to read an astrology chart of Sam's, and he's a fellow Aries. We have the exact same birthday. He made the mistake of saying that I was way older than him. I'm only a year older than him, but we have the exact same March 22nd birthday. And I'm like, I know a yapper when I see one. And when you see an Aries sun in the third house with like Venus and Mercury as well, I'm like, ooh, this is a certifiable yapper. I love it. So it was super fun to be able to do that. I mentioned that Ohio State and Will Howard. Yes, this is the crazy thing. And this is what I think might set me apart from other people that love sports and astrology and might combine the two of them together, is that I happen to be very connected with a lot of people still in sports. So if I need information, it just shows up. And this week, preparing for my spot on BetQL, I knew that I was going to be talking about the Ohio State and Texas game because I may or may not have been being discussed on this show for a while now. They've referred to me as the witch. Then they learned that my name is Gracey, so they start calling me Gracey the Witch. My Germanic ancestors are quite proud of that, I'm sure, as, being in 2025 and being addressed to the world as Gracey the Witch was pretty powerful. And I was excited. I was like, hey, of all the names and titles I have not given myself, I am now being called a witch, and I kind of love it. And I've been called that for a while. Kelly in Vegas is the one that I was talking about on the show on BetQL that was the one that connected me into that realm and kind of encouraged me to get into sports astrology. So shout out to Kelly. I've been a huge, huge, huge supporter of her work as well, watching her travel through time and space as fast as she does. Of course, she's a Sagittarius, of course. So that was really cool to be able to have Kelly link me with those guys. And, now I'm known as Gracey the witch, the sports witch, sports betting witch. I don't know. I think just sports witch is fine. Knowing what's going to happen in the games, like I called with Ohio State being so dominant, I could do that because I got the quarterback of Ohio State's birth time about an hour before I went live for that show. So I, once again, having zero connection to this person and not knowing them all, ended up getting the birth time through Kelly, of course, who won't reveal her sources, but ended up doing so anyways. So thank you to the person that got me the proper birth time. And thank you for the heavens above that I predicted that Will Howard was going to go off and be loudly dominant in leadership as well as physicality in that game. And he was. I also mentioned that the Texas quarterback was getting pinged by Saturn left and right. And boy, did that show. That was a rough game to watch. So my predictions for this week, I did mention that Bo Nix and the Broncos definitely have a chance to beat the Bills and get into the playoffs. And that would be wild, seeming as the Broncos haven't been competitive in so long that it's like, wait, oh yeah, they still exist. Got it. But as a Chiefs fan and as someone who covers Chiefs astrology, would it be fun to have an AFC West show off in one part of the playoffs? Sure, why not? It'd just be fun to beat the Broncos when it actually matters most. Just to remind them, it's like, hey, we're still here. Patrick Mahomes is still the GOAT. Like, we still got this. But I do think that Bo Nix is going to have a game today, and it should be fun to watch. Also think that Baker Mayfield is going to do well today against the Commanders. So we'll see. We will see. One thing is for sure, I am glad that I've had a little bit of a break to celebrate these things that I am doing between the incredible book that is available once again on Amazon and my magazine, which is available for free. I forgot to mention that part. Like, I have a quarterly magazine that goes out each and every turn of the season for free on my website. I will always keep it free. You know, that is something that really means a lot to me, is having free resources on my website. Yes, I do charge for my readings, and they're, you know, not at my mother's dog that I'm dog sitting is here now demanding attention. But, you know, these are readings that I charge for. My time and my energy, my expertise is something that I don't give away lightly. So everything that has been poured into these resources that are free are some of my like deepest and most personal stories. Like, I put pictures of my family and pictures of my childhood into these magazines, and I value those things very much, and I find those things sacred. So putting little pieces of myself into my creative work is something that I am definitely known for. One of the things I do want to share before I jump out of here, because I have a very busy day ahead, is my moon rituals. And I didn't do the rituals, but I am part of the ritual because I am the one doing all the Sabian symbols. As you guys can see, that is for the full moon happening tomorrow at 24 degrees Cancer. I did all the Sabian symbol breakdowns of the book. I'll just hold it right by my head so I know I can see it. And it's really cool to see. Like, it's fun to see all that. And then you turn to the next page, and then Alessia has designed these incredible full moon rituals, new moon rituals, whatever moon it is. There's also journaling pages where you can make notes and, you know, kind of like go over what happened this full moon. While I've got you guys here, I don't want to say that I've predicted the chaos and the tumultuousness at Fox Sports, but I will say it does fit into the full moon. And I think there's going to be maybe more revealed about the Fox Sports lawsuit saga happening on maybe Monday, tomorrow, with this full moon at 24 degrees Cancer. I wrote for this lunation, you might be experiencing a love triangle or a situation where you have been stuck with an extra party to your current predicament. The karmic degree here represents a throuple of sorts, whether it be a group of people cast away from the crowd or misfits of some nature, or it is an exclusive relationship where a man, woman, and a manager of sorts or interference plays a part. Who knows? However, I feel like it's a little bit spot on with all the chaos going on, but it's not saying that there's going to be some random third party popping up in your relationship, but it's about your connections to a lot of things, you know? So this full moon is definitely a powerful one with, you know, you look at Mars and Cancer as well being conjunct this lunation. Mars retrograde is definitely clearing out a lot of the things that I mentioned it would back in December when I've been waiting for this Mars in Leo and Mars in Cancer retrograde for a minute now, mostly because I have been seeing so many like ego driven, really like pride driven takes in astrology, pushes and things that it's just like, yeah, I know that's wild from somebody that goes live like every other day and has their face everywhere and is everywhere, but I'm a 10th house sun. That's what happens. Um, but it's like some of these things where it's like you just want to be fearful or fear based just to like be like the gotcha crowd and like, whoo, I was right again. Predicting things just for the sake of predicting things, I hope just goes out of the window soon. When I feel called to, I'll comment on things. I felt called to comment on the Drake situation way back in March 2023, saying that he had a rough year ahead and personal crisis was a theme. I mentioned a lot of things along the lines of that with Diddy, and I was like called out for being too harsh for saying that he would die behind bars. And I'm like, we are talking about a sexual monster and predator, right? Like, it's okay that I say he dies behind bars. There's just a lot of like butt hurtness, I feel like, for not getting X, Y, and Z, or people who feel like they need to just be louder and condemn others for their takes or whatever. Like, I feel really lucky that that hasn't had to be where I am in my astrology career. I get to work with other people, support other people in my journey, collaborate with other people that are brilliant and learn from them. Like, I have learned so much from making this book with the astrologers that I did with Alessia, Amanda, and Jamal. Please check them all out if you haven't already. The link is in my bio. It just says, buy my book in all caps. But it's not just mine. It is all of ours. We co-wrote it. There's no author on the spine because, it was a collaborative effort. There is, however, on this spine of the paperback, the Ninth House Publishing. I think it's pretty cool because you can see, Ninth House Publishing. That's my publishing house that I started in October this last year, in October 2024, October 22nd, 2024, I might add. And it's really fun to make creative projects with people who are visionaries and original artists and creatives just like me. So it was just like I found the right people, the right time. We made a huge effort of, putting something together and making it work. We pushed through it. Our holidays were taken up by Amazon. Will they, won't they publish this? Working with a lot of things. I took that on, of course, as the publisher, but I kept sharing the updates and they were very sporadic at times, but it was nice to have that. And I also just want to share one last thing that I was super proud of. I ended up becoming a accredited source on the Astro databank for all these celebrity birth times. I not only have now gotten Sonia Morgan's correct birth time updated on that databank, there's also Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that is a former Chiefs player and a current New Orleans Saints player that is credited to Gracey, Northern Astrology as well. So big week for me. I am now officially in the record books with multiple people as accredited, me being accredited to the birth time. So very exciting news. So thank you guys. I'm so glad that we could share this little catch up session together. I'm so glad that you could see my book, our collaborative effort book with all the voices, all the different concepts. There's time lords in here. I didn't even cover that part. Oh my God. It's so cool because you can actually like go through and go deeper with your chart. You can find your personal compass, which I always talk about the angles. What is a time lord? And then also identify your time lord and the perfections wheel. Like, oh my God, there's so much information in this book. And I hope that you guys will take a chance and go to bio.site /astrology of 2025. I'm pretty sure I got that right. I will link to it below the stream and also in the comments on YouTube. But yes, I'm super excited that we were able to pull this off and bring all of our voices together to make one of the coolest books and the coolest projects I've ever been a part of. Like, this has been so much fun. It's been like, I don't know, just watching something unfold this way and then being like, wow, we really did that, didn't we? and watching it all come to life, having it physically in my hands. It's been amazing, amazing, amazing year thus far. It'll wrap up in March 2025 when Aries season starts and our new year begins. But happy North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. Clean your rooms, clean your homes, organize everything, because if you don't, the South Node will do it for you, and it might not be as pretty as if you voluntarily did it. So Sunday is a great day for taking stock in your personal life as well as with your personal self. I'm wearing the sun necklace. I believe you can see it from Shadanis, as well as the serpent ring from Shadanis. I love having planetary collections for the days of the week that I'm like doing shows, like for the live stream on Wednesday, having my Aries necklace on for my 10th house sun for my public appearance with that show was super fun. So if you haven't checked out Shadanis's jewelry, it's Shadanis Shop on IG as well as Twitter. And it's really cool astrological themed jewelry made by a brilliant 10th house sun as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go deal with this little chaotic hairball named Stella that's running around the house and send her back to my mother's house where she belongs, and have a very busy day ahead. And I get to celebrate with the love of my life and my family that it's Sunday and we made it through another one. And we're here to start off the Pisces North Node with more creativity. And I'm looking forward to see where that takes all of you. So without further ado, I'm out.